Hi, everyone. We are back.
Hey, it's Wednesday night.
Another pajama party.
I know. I don't have my PJs on tonight. I didn't even change into my t-shirt so you get my mug.
I got my sweatshirt. I'm a
Yeah.
little chilly.
So we missed you last week. So glad that you're back.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everything going well in your world?
Yep, just taking some time off to recoup.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm good. Thank you.
Yes. Good, good. And so you're back into doing your own live show now too?
Next week.
Next week.
And actually, for my live next week, I have Paulette Jarvie, who is doing a project.
Wow.
So I'll be there, but she will be taking over and doing the show for me. So that's wonderful too. So I have an extra
Oh my gosh.
week to just recoup.
Yeah. So I mean, it's okay if I just briefly say that you had some mouth dental work done?
I had I had to have some dental work done, and then they found I had one wisdom tooth that they never took out when they took my wisdom teeth out when I was a teenager, and I always knew it was there, but my dentist who was doing it, he found that was all abscessed and infected, and
Right.
so I went through a lot more work than I had planned.
Yeah.
And so I am just taking some time.
Yeah. So we're so glad that you're on the mend.
Yes.
Yeah. What else is going on in your creative world? I was asking you earlier about Bellicon, and I don't know how much pre-planning you do, but you want to talk?
I have the date.
A preview of
I have
that?
the dates selected. I'm not going to say them yet to everybody, but they are selected, and I'm reaching out to sponsors this month. And the new issue of Bella Crafts is done and was going to be sent out yesterday. But I had changed email providers, and I had gotten everything done, everything moved over. I had the newsletter done, and it wouldn't send. So there's a technical thing, and I was talking with my new email provider today. So hopefully by tomorrow, you guys will have that in your inbox. If not, I'm just going to put it out there and you can grab it yourselves. And I'll work on that new email provider. But yeah, but the fall issue is beautiful and it's filled with all sorts of crafty goodness. So if you are not on the list, I'll put a link in when Danielle's doing her project and you can sign up.
Okay, cool. And that also prompts me, let me just show this, to remind everyone, if you're not a part of our Cool2Craft Facebook group, we'd really love to invite you in. So it's facebook.com/groups/cool2craft. And so we post different crafts in there. Our members share with each other. So please come over and join us there. And Ann and I are working on another new project, and so you'll be the first to know about it if you're part of that group. And
which you're going to want to know about that project.
To know about it.
We have so much going on in our creative worlds, and we just know it's all going to come to a head at once, and then we're going to have to, because we're ahead right now, but we're going to be behind if we don't.
I know. I know. So, and we had a chance to chat with Danielle a few minutes before we went on air, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm tired tonight. And then you kind of go, well, why? And then I go, oh yes, because I'm working on a lot of different things. So I love my Wednesday night boost here.
Yes, so many exciting things happening in our creative worlds, and we can't wait to share everything. But yes, I saw Lenine say Bellicon. Oh my, yes. I have to work on it so far in advance. And it is moving to March. I will say that, because the trade shows, both H&H and NAMTA, they start like April 30th and go to the middle of May. So I had to move the event, but I'll share everything once I can.
I don't think we've really talked about this in specifics. I want to invite everyone to follow AdTech in social media, because we've been creating projects for AdTech, and there's a group of designers, and I had a total design block. And then finally something came to me, which was a fall project. But I realized in the past, I'm going to welcome everyone who's logging in right now.
I know.
To have you here. So many new names that are huge fans of Danielle's.
We love it.
We love that you're here tonight. And so it's been interesting for me doing design work, because in the past, did a lot of designs with Aline's tacky glue. Of course, Aline is my mama. But pushing myself outside of my design box, my creative design area, has been really good for me. And I like the challenge, but oh my gosh, when I have my design blocks, I do not like that.
I know.
Yeah. And then I finally just reached a moment. It's like, okay, I'm going to turn the camera on and I'm just going to make this and hope that it works. And the last project I made, which I won't tell exactly what it is, but I was talking about, like, you need to space these items on your project. And then when I looked at the project and I was all done, it's like, well, those aren't spaced right. So I just left them. So, but it's like, how do I talk about it and then go on filming and making the project? And then I look at it and it's like, whoa, somebody, if they listen to my video demo of it, it's like, well, you didn't do what you said you were doing in the video. So anyway, it's been fun to work on those projects.
Well, and it's been exciting to see what everybody's creating. And I know sometimes I do pre-steps and I have things in advance. So it's stepped out and it's easier, but sometimes I just have to record it. And then I just let the recording go while I'm doing a step over here, and then I have to cut that part out. But that's
what I'm finding I have to do to commit to it. And here's what Lenine had to say when she has a design block. I just glue papers in my glue book.
I love that.
I think I need to start that, Lenine, because I definitely don't like when I'm totally blocked. But I've also found, being Aline's daughter, we didn't create things for our own home. Like if I'm supposed to make a fall project for, say, my home, I never had to do that, when I was growing up in the craft world. And so it's like, well, okay, how does everybody decorate? Because I never did that. Our whole world was crafts, so we didn't bring them home to work on. So anyway, that's kind of been my creative work. And what I say to you is, like, I want to get all of the projects done early, and so that I don't wait till the last minute. I'm usually not a procrastinator, so I have 2 more projects I want to get done before the end of the year.
I like our friend Eileen. We work really well under pressure.
Yeah,
really well at the last minute. I try not to be, but I can see it in a couple of my kids. Even it's like, oh, don't do that. Mom has done, don't, just. Yeah. But some of my best work is last minute. So, yeah.
You work on so many more projects than I do. So, the other thing that I want to share with everyone tonight is the link to the Cool2Craft blog. So this is where we post. What I do is, when we have guests on the show, those of you who join us, it's great for that hour. Sometimes people don't want to sit through a replay of an hour, so I just pull out the demonstration, and then I post it to the blog, and you'll find it on YouTube. But subscribe to Cool2Craft blog, and you will get, it's a weekly update. I try and put a new project up every week, so want to invite everyone to do that. And I'm sure we have time tonight to remind everyone that if you want to share your creative project, tonight, you it's what we call our In the Spotlight that we will post. And if you have that, otherwise
I'm grabbing it.
Okay. So we will post a link which gets you into our green room, and we can see when you come in. And so after Danielle does her presentation tonight, we want you to share whatever project that you're working on. I actually heard from a girlfriend of mine from California who reached out to me. I haven't talked to her for quite a while. And she even said, "Is this still Tiffany at this number?" Yes, it's me. And so she showed me a project that she was working on. And I said, "You need to come on Wednesday night." She goes, "I've watched you before, and but she hasn't been in the chat. So it's like, come on and share your project." So hopefully one of these nights we will get her here. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. And I'm seeing Lenine's here and Karen is here, and it's so good to have all of you here tonight. And a lot of new names: Deborah, welcome; Jenny,
yes,
Colleen. So cool that you have joined us tonight. And anything else that we want to talk about before we invite our special guest on?
Talked about the magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about next week we'll be back with our lives. So Wednesday at noon and 2:00 Central Time, Lisa and I will be back. Mm-hmm. So make sure you join us there.
Yes. And Wednesday is a busy day for you.
I know. Do all my lives on one day.
Yeah. That's
that
good.
way I only have to get ready once.
Yeah. So in the chat, if you don't want to come on air later in the show, would you drop us a note and let us know what crafts that you're working on? We always love to know what everybody's creating. So hop onto that chat and let us know what you're working on. So I think we're a little ahead of schedule. Do we want to bring Lenine in now?
Yeah, let's bring Lenine in first.
Okay.
Hey there.
Hello. Did I turn off the other? I'm trying to make sure I get the sound off.
I know.
I don't hear anything, so you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Tiffany, here's some more glue pages.
Oh, how cool.
And it's just tissue paper. It's just scraps of paper. I just do that, but that's not what I wanted to show. I just wanted to say that.
Well, thanks for sharing that.
I am on a couple of design teams, and one of them is a company called the Blank Page Muse, a rubber stamp company. And this is what I did recently for that.
Nice.
The stamps are the pens, the ink bottle, and the Poe, and actually the clock behind is a stamp too. These papers are digitals from them too.
They do have nice stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And then another one that I did with them is this one here. And this is some of my glue book paper in the background. The background is that you can see it's all different shapes, but the stencil here is from Blank Page Muse. And this is one of their stamps, and then the sentiment is a stamp from them. And then what I did was, after I did the stenciling, I took one of the dip inks, the glass pens with dip ink, and went around the petals of the flower.
Do you have foil on there?
Yes, I do have some foil here.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah, so that's that one. Anyway, those are 2 cards. I have a stack here, but I won't bore you.
You never bore us. You inspire us. Never boring.
You can come back later if we still have time.
Yeah.
That is my job, though, to inspire people.
We love it.
Yeah, and you do a great job of it. So
thank you.
We always love to have you here.
I always have a good time coming in. Thank you.
Thank you, Lenine.
Thanks, Lenine.
Bye.
That's so cool. So I don't know if Ruby is in our chat, but Ruby just requested to join the Cool2Craft community. So thank you, Ruby, if you're watching right now. I just noticed that there was a notification that came up, and I just accepted you. So you're part of the crowd now.
Yay.
Awesome. Well, we're going to invite our special guest on right now. It's Danielle.
Hey, Danielle.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, we're happy to have you on. We love your work.
Yeah, we've been waiting weeks and weeks and weeks for your appearance here. I can't believe it's because when you first booked, I thought October, that's so far away.
Oh,
And
yes.
so I'm so delighted that you're here tonight.
I'm happy to be here too. Yeah, and October just came so quick. I knew it. Time's been flying. So I started planning further and further ahead for things.
Yeah. Well, we're so honored to have you here tonight. And our routine is that we're going to turn the screen over to you. So what I want you to do is when you have full screen, just introduce yourself, and everyone who doesn't know you would love to know about your background, and then do your demo. When you're done, just let us know that you're ready for Q&As, and we'll pop back in.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
There you go.
Hi. Nice to meet you guys. For anyone that doesn't know me yet, I'm Danielle Wickes Jewelry, and I create seed bead designs for jewelry and other types of craft, but mainly jewelry. And so I specialize in pattern for seed bead designs. That's really my main thing that I really focus on, but I do other types of jewelry like wire wrapping. I love to do crochet. So I'm an omni crafter. But for tonight, I was going to show you a technique that uses a special kind of 2-hole bead. It's a check glass bead that's called a lentil, and it has 2 holes. It's a round bead, and I'll show you a better look at this on my bead mat. But it is a just kind of like a shaped bead, and seed beaders often love to combine shaped beads with their designs. So this is a really simple, super easy, I have lots of colorways. Beautiful cuff bracelet. It has a magnetic clasp that you can just pop right on. And so I have a bunch of different colors to show you. That was my earth palette. I have an ocean. This one looks like kind of like sea kelp. And this one looks like sorbet. And I also had an original colorway, but this one was the original, so I don't currently have that one in my shop at the moment. It's sold out, but those other 3 are currently there. And my patterns are on my website, and they are free to download, daniellewicksjewelry.com. Under tutorials, this is called the lentil bracelets. And so you can get this palette, and all the colors are listed, all the data you would need to recreate it yourself. So I'm going to switch my camera and show you a better view of the project. So here is the project here and all of the colorways. And again, these are made with a really beautiful type of bead called a 2-hole check glass lentil. These can be used both in an off-loom stitch, such as this, or even in an on-loom design as well. So both of those types of designs really, really work out nicely. In all kinds of seed beading, you can use this type of bead. And so a closer look at the other materials there's a clasp in it. And this is a magnetic clasp. It's made in Greece. It's called a symbol. And these are a type of stitch-in designed specifically for seed beaders. So they come in a lot of different shapes and for different kinds of seed beads, everything from 11-0 seed beads all the way to 8-0, and then some for every different kind of shape bead you can imagine. And so for today, I've actually repurposed what is called a super duo finding. So a super duo is another type of 2-hole bead, check glass bead. And this one, although not designed for lentils, ends up being the perfect fit. And it stitches in one easy swoop. So I'm going to show you that today with a sample that I have finished. But let's start by showing how to start the design. And so again, this is the pattern how-to, and I've done a illustration for all your colorways. So whichever colorway you're going to work with, or beads from your own stash, you can always just lay those out in an order you find pretty. But it's essentially going to start with 11-0 seed beads and lentils, and that's all you need. And so use as many or as few colors as you'd like. I've got the earth palette here. Earth palette I had is 5 colors. And then I have a seed bead mix of Miyuki 11-0 seed beads. And so those are my beads. For my thread, I'm using a thread called Fireline. And Fireline is a really nice, used to be fishing line actually, but it's a bonded nylon. It's like a microfused, very durable, very solid bead weaving thread. And I have used a hard beading needle that's a size 10. And when you work these kind of designs, you usually thread your needle. and then just fold over one part of it, and you can make your length shorter because 80 to 90 inches is a lot of thread to wield in one. That's longer than most people's wingspan. So if you start by folding over quite a lot of it, it can give you a little shorter length to work with, but it is worked on one strand. So we're going to leave about a 12-inch tail, and we're going to string on the first row of beads. So we're going to string a total of 10 lentil beads, and any of these patterns or your own pattern are totally great. So you can go with what I've got here, or you can try something different. So I think I'm going to go with what I did for my others, just for my motor memory during a demo, which was like that. So again, you just want to string 10, and what I did is I went 2 of each. So there's 2, and then the next 2. Oops, and then 2 more. And right now, for the purposes of our stringing, don't worry about which hole. It's a symmetrical bead. So at the moment, you can just pick up, and then you want to leave about a 12-inch tail. And we're just going to string those first 10 beads. And there's, picking them up is a little tricky on the mat, but it works. You can also pick them up in your dish if that's easier. All right, so again, that's 10 beads, any pattern you'd like, string them through whichever hole, and try to leave about a 12-inch tail. That's going to become important when we put on our clasp. We'll use that tail thread for that. All right, and so what we're going to do next is, so essentially what we've done is we've strung these beads, which in peyote stitch, we're doing peyote stitch right now. I might have forgotten to mention that, but that's what this actually ends up becoming. We've strung the first 10 beads, which is essentially rows 1 and 2. When you add row 3 in peyote stitch, it becomes the brick configuration that you recognize for that stitch. But so that's going to happen right now. We're going to start with an 11 seed bead, and then we're going to match the color we're skipping and go through the next bead to the end of the row. So I'll pick up in the color I'm skipping, and I'm skipping the first bead and then going through the second one. And if you just kind of hold everything on the mat for a second and pull that thread through, you'll get something that look, oh, and forgive me, I forgot to string my 11 seed bead. I talked about it, but didn't do it. So here's my 11, and then my new lentil. And again, I'm going to skip the last bead that I strung, and we'll just go through the next one and then pull that through. And I like to, when I do peyote stitch starts, pull the working side and the tail side threads apart, and you get this little pop. And that's your first peyote stitch start there. We're going to repeat what we did through the end by skipping the next bead and going through the one after it. And again, I'm just going to pick up the color that I'm skipping. There we go. And then just go through the second hole of the next one. And so when you're working with, whoops, sorry about that. Working with 2-hole beads is really easy because you don't have to bring your thread through the same hole that the thread is passing through. So it's actually really a lot easier, I think, to do peyote stitch with a 2-hole bead than with a regular seed bead. So if you're new to peyote stitch, this is a really, really nice way to learn it. So again, I'm going to pick up the color I'm skipping, and we'll skip the next bead, and we'll go through the open hole of the next one and pull tight. And here's the next one. Skipping one, going through the next, almost to the end of the row here. And skip the next one, and we'll go through the last one here. And so yes, again, each of those times I'm just going to go through the the open side. And so when you pull that working and tail thread apart, you get this beautiful peyote stitch start. Really, really easy to do. Let's get some more 11-ohs. A few different colors. I actually made this mix myself. It's a little earth tone bead mix. And I'm going to pick up one seed bead. So just one 11-oh. And then I'll pick up another lentil, and I'm going to also continue that convention of picking up the color that I'm skipping. So I'll pick up this bead here. And we will go through the open side of the last one you added in the previous row. So in the previous row, we added this one, and we went through that bead. So now we'll pick up that 11-oh and that seed bead. And we're going to go through the open side of that last bead we strung. So just right there. And so that starts the next row. So it looks really cool, just like that. And now just work back in the same order. So if you have your beads laid out in the order you want to use them, it makes it pretty easy just to kind of get into a groove and start just stitching along. And there we go. Next one. And the last one. And so that finishes row 4 there. And everything we do from here out is a repeat. So I'm going to repeat one more. And then you just work back in the opposite direction. So you'll pick up an 11-oh, always an 11-oh at the end of each row. And then the first bead of your new row will be the one you're skipping. And we're skipping this bead and going through the next one. And again, those 2-hole beads, they make it so easy to visualize what is essentially your up bead. In peyote stitch, you call the one that you're about to go through the up beads, and you're skipping the down bead. And you can see how it gets really quick and really easy to finish these. I can make one of these in about an hour from start to finish. So let's see, demo time's doing pretty good. I could do one more row, and then I have a sample that is ready to go to show you finishing. So let's do one more row together. We'll pick up a 11-oh, another lentil, and then we're going to go through the open side of the last one from that previous row. Next one. Oops. Next one. And our last one. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell, just to finish an entire bracelet like that. So about an hour later, you'll have one that looks like this. And it's just really, really fun. It's flexible, really flowy. It looks kind of cool from the side. It's almost like dragon scales. And what you'll want to do is you want to try to get it to where it fits comfortably. Maybe almost connecting on the other side of your wrist. You can use a bracelet design board if you're making this for someone else. And a bracelet design boards, like the ones you get at a craft store, I do have one handy I can show you. They look like these. And then you can put your bracelet on there and see if you're gifting this to someone or if you're making them to sell. 7 inches is a good measure. The clasp isn't going to add a lot of length. It's a pretty svelte clasp. It adds a little over a ½ inch in length. And so you want to just get it to where it's going to comfortably fit with a little bit of breathing room. One thing I'll say about this design, and I'll show you on a finished one really quick, is that if you give yourself a little extra space, it's going to wear a little more comfortably. All right. So when putting on the clasp is like It's incredibly satisfying. It's really fun. And I love these components for that reason. I'm going to put a needle onto one of the ends of thread. And at this point, you can't really tell if you've taken your work and set it aside and come back, which side is your tail side and which side was your working side. And the cool thing is it doesn't matter. So we're going to do the same thing on both sides. So you've got your gorgeous bracelet here. You want to pick up one 11/0 seed bead, and then just take your clasp. And right now, this is magnetic, so right now I have it clasped. I'll show you when we do the other side, but you want to just pop that in place like that, just like a little puzzle piece. And I'm going to bring my needle through the side of the bead. So I'm going to be going through this hole. And in case I forgot to mention this clasp has holes that run all the way down. So let me show you the needle without the beads. Right through like that. So when we put it in its spot, we can go literally right through it in one little swoop like that. You want to reinforce that connection, but that is so easy to do. So from here, just go through the beads like that. Make a turn, head up through the seed bead, and then you just go through all those beads again. So do that as many times as you need to feel like that is a nice secure connection. I usually do 3 passes. And then I weave in. Weaving in is very easy. Go through just the 2 beads. Let me pull the tail thread through there. And then I like to make a turn. And I'll go through a few of those. Turn down and go through. So I go through 2 just because it seems to be that my needle finds that easiest. And then just head through some beads, make another turn. Let's go through a few more. And if you're having trouble getting through, just wiggle it a little bit and pop out anywhere you'd like. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that. I like to use a thread burner. Fireline, which is the thread I'm using, does really nicely with a thread burner. So all you got to do is take, and I usually I'll pull it away from the other threads because remember you have thread running the side. So just kind of pull it away from that thread and keep some pressure on it and then just burn it, maybe right next to it. And that kind of singes everything together. And you've got your perfect end. The same thing happens on the other side. It's very easy. And just really quickly show you the first step. I won't do all that weaving in. It's the same exact thing, but just so you can see it come together. You pick up another seed bead. And in this case, the half of the clasp you need is over here. What I like to do is bring it together first and then hold the end that I need. And so I just get it so that it's going to close, because if you stitch it on the other way, the magnetic sides won't contact. But another thing you could do is just remember that in the finished designs, you're always going to have one side with the open showing and one side with the closed showing. So just like that. So we've got our seed bead here. And then we've got the side of the clasp in its configuration that we want, facing up. And you got to remember that 11/0 seed bead. You'll see it if you don't, but it's kind of it's essential for jumping this gap here. There you go. Just get through all those. And there's your design. You still need to do that loop through, weave through, but you've got your beautiful bracelet all finished. So you can go to town. You can make any pattern you want. I got a little creative with this one. I only had 4 colors in this one, so I started doing a little loop pattern where the sides change colors in kind of like a little chevron. And that's the only one that's different. The rest of them are just stripes. So I went ahead and illustrated that pattern for you. If you're working that one, you just want to change your color every 2 rows, essentially. And you can just copy what you see there. But yeah, and then this is just an illustration showing you how to do that connection. And again, this would work with any 2-hole lentils and 11 Miyuki seed beads that you might have in your stash. So yeah, that's all the beauties. So I think that is, I can open up for questions now. If you guys have anything I missed or forgot to talk about, please feel free to ask.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Wow.
I did star some, I think there was like a question, but most people were saying beautiful color combinations.
Oh, thank you.
And beautiful work. Jenny said, I love Danielle's lentil bracelet. I have the original and have played with the lentils.
She does.
Somebody had a question. Deborah, could this be done with Super Duo?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I have one behind me. Yeah. Super Duo beads actually were the original idea. And that's what these clasps were designed to work with. I just had a bunch of lentils in my stash and I really wanted to see, but here's a Super Duo one. So the Super Duo version is very, very pretty. It's a little wider. I made this a little wider design. And so the clasp has an extra 2 prongs compared to the one that is used here. You can see there's a little different configuration happening, but it's the same clasp, just a little 2 prongs less, basically. They almost look the same, but they are essentially a different bead. Still needs an 11 seed bead to turn. And I have this pattern on my website and this pattern. So if you're looking for this one, I called this one the guitar strap bracelet because to me, it looked like a guitar strap, you know, or like a purse strap. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, it would be a cool purse strap, wouldn't it? It's very strong, very sturdy because it's made with the fishing line. So it is, yeah, it's a really nice one.
Very cool. I love that clasp. Easiest one I've ever seen.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah,
So awesome.
that is cool. Yeah.
That was the first note that I put down. Magnetic clasp exclamation. That was that is a game changer. And so I was putting some links in while you were demonstrating. Yep. So go back over again. You have kits that you've put together with some of the colorways that you've talked about.
I do, yeah. I currently have all 3 of the ones shown here in stock. And so that's the Sorbet, Ocean, and Earth Tone.
They're gorgeous.
Gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I have a question. Tell me what that tool was again that you used on the thread, the burning tool.
Oh, yeah. It's a rechargeable USB micro thread burner. So it's really tiny. It heats up red hot and it fuses everything from Chinese knotting cord to the Berkeley fishing line that I get from Beadsmith. It's pretty cool.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah.
I have one of those. I've never used it.
Yeah,
they're fun. They're great for macrame too. That's mostly, people use them mostly for macrame, but I think the bead weavers discovered them from there.
Very cool.
And it'd work really good with hemp cord too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Definitely. I think Jules uses them a lot with hemp cord.
Okay. Yeah. Philomena said, I have the Earth kit and have made a bracelet and love it.
Oh,
I bought another one, and she also has lots of beads left. So you're generous in your kits, right?
Yeah, I went ahead and did 2 of the full check strands because I want the length to not be a worry. So you can make any length you want, but you most likely will be able to make 2 bracelets with it.
Karen said, you inspired me. I think I know what to do with these silver handmade tree-like pendants I have.
Oh, that's cool. That's neat.
Okay, Lenine would like to know what the super duper bead looks like next to the lentil.
Oh, a super duo? Okay, yeah, let me bring one of those out.
Yeah, super duo.
Let's see. So a super duo versus a lentil. Let me bring my other screen back really quick.
Perfect.
And so here's the lentils. I'll drop a few colors out here on the mat. And I'll bring the camera down a little bit. Let's get my bright light. Here we go. So actually, I might even be able to better to see it with that. So there's your lentils. And here's what a super duo looks like. This happens to be a mix of duets. And duets are just, it's a different color on each side. So you got a green and a white side. Let me bring this up a little closer. So you see a super duo has kind of like a little,
Oh, cool.
I don't know how to describe it really. I feel like it's kind of like an 8 maybe. Or opposite of an 8 because it's wider in the middle than on the tips of the side.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas these are just a true saucer with a hole on each side. These just have a little more shape going on. These are really fun and dimensionally because they, here I have one in progress I can show you. They're a little bit less bulky than the lentil as far as like the finished piece. They end up being very, very, very flexible because they're shaped with that thin part toward the front. Whereas these, you know, they don't quite go that curly cued. These definitely do. It really just feels like a dragon skin or snake scales or really fun. Yeah, so a really cool design, really fun to make.
Yeah, those are very cool.
And this is the same stitch. It is an odd count, but if you try this once and you love it, the odd count will not be difficult to learn. It's really easy. And I have pattern for both of these on my website.
They're talking about what that bead looks like.
Yeah.
So they are.
Everybody has their own idea of what it looks like.
Yeah, I always struggle to describe shapes for some reason because there's so many bead shapes and they always have like some funny name. Like there's beads called ginkgos, and I always want to call them geckos. They look like a little half circle with a point, but there's so many different shapes, and it gives you the ability to just play geometry games and puzzle games. Like you just put them together. That's all bead weavers really love doing is just creating new and kind of unique ways to combine them with other different shapes and different. You can make flowers. You can make. I made an owl once with little wings. It was cute.
I do want to ask you about how you got started in all of this. You do amazing work. It's
Thank you.
stunning. So how did you get started and how did you build your confidence to the business that you have today?
It's been a journey. I think I started beading in 2007 and it started with wire, and it was I was given some stones and asked to make something with them, and they were like top drilled and through drilled, and they were very tiny, and I didn't know what to do. And I went to a craft store and tried to figure it out, which led me to a brick and mortar bead store where I instantly made friends with the owner and the manager there. And by the time a year had gone by, I was there every Saturday from like sun up to sundown. I helped clean. I was spotting for classes. And she talked me into opening an Etsy store when I started to make. And I sold on consignment in their store.
Nice.
So I opened my first Etsy shop in 2007. So I was one of the Etsy OGs. We were there like the very first year it started. And I've been on Etsy up until this January, where I finally switched to my own website.
Well, I've been just glancing through your website. It's amazing. And I see all of the different, so I think I'm on the patterns and tutorials page right now because I was trying to find the guitar, the pattern, it was something about the guitar bracelet.
Oh yeah, I can pop a link up for that.
Okay, great. And so when you go to DanielleWickesJewelry.com, you're going to see that she has this shopping page, and you have the beautiful earth tone lentil bracelet, the cactus that had those beautiful greens and corals and orange, and then the ocean, which is my favorite colors, as you can see.
You like the ocean one?
Yeah. So
That one is
anyone who's like starting off on this, it's great that they can buy a kit from you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a great one to learn on because it's even count and so super easy.
Well, and kits are so nice because you have all the supplies.
Yes.
Yeah, I love kits. I learned from kits actually. That was another way to get started. I learned from YouTube videos and buying kits from other designers.
Yeah.
Do you sell those magnetic clasps?
I do. I am about to add a restock. The box hit my front porch today.
Okay.
So
Okay. Because
they will
that's
be
what
up
I
by
was
tomorrow
looking
morning.
for. That's perfect. Now, you mentioned 2007. Sorry, I'm like mesmerized by your website. You mentioned that you got inspired in 2007. Did you craft as a child?
I did. Yeah, I've always dabbled in stuff. It was mostly painting, crochet. I did a little bit of hand sewing and I cross stitched. That was my real thing, was the cross stitching. And my grandma taught me to do that. And I was making all kinds of, little squares and designs that we would put into clothing or just, put in the hoop frame on the wall kind of stuff, ornaments.
Do you do any of that still?
I feel like the bead embroidery and cross stitching, they all overlapped into something that has kind of melded, I guess. And so I actually used cross stitch software originally to do some of my loom patterns when I started looming.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What I'm impressed by is your color choices and how you pull these colors together in the bracelets, because that makes such a huge difference. When someone pulls together the right collection of colors. And I really am noticing that in all of your work, because it makes such a difference to be really pleasing to the eye and to, wearing it when you have this beautiful combination of colors.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. That's a great compliment.
Yeah, it's I'm inspired.
Yeah.
And
thanks.
One of my mom's products when I was growing up was a bead loom, and so I used to play with that when I was a kid, and I did a little bit of beading because I had taken some beading classes, but it was all loom work. So I haven't done what do you even call it when it's off? I guess it's off loom at that point.
Yeah, off loom.
Yeah, so it's really cool to see your techniques, and my mind had not even thought about how do you get all of those beads to work together so beautifully that create that beautiful pattern.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's really fun. It's a really fun thing to do, and I love all kinds of off loom stitches. But I also do really love looming. It's the fastest, right, to finish a design. It can be super intricate.
Yeah. Any suggestions for somebody who's just starting in beadwork? What suggestions do you have for them?
I think the really now it's so easy to learn from videos. For me, like just watching good videos on YouTube, you can pause it, try it, and watch it again if you need to. And the cool thing I think about bead weaving as compared to something like, say, wire wrapping is it's completely forgiving. Though at worst case, you're out some thread. But the beads can be taken apart, redone. There's no mistake you can't fix. And so just try it and just keep going.
How many patterns do you think you've created in your career?
Oh gosh, probably a lot. I was doing one per week for Michael's for like 4 years. So it was, I would say a lot at this point. But on my own website, I think I have at least a good 100 going, 120 or so. And they're all different. They're all different beads and lumen and peyote. And
is there a particular pattern that's easier for someone to start with? Like, do you explain any of that on your website? If I say, hey, I want to try this, is there a particular size beads? I was so impressed how easily you could thread the needles and pick up those little beads.
Oh yeah, there's a trick to that. And the trick is use thread that's easy to thread. So this is, you flatten it with a chain nose pliers, and then the beading needles, I get mine from Beadalon. They have a really nice eye. And once you flatten these with chain nose pliers, it's just like putting a piece of paper through it.
Okay. Because it's not catching, it's flat.
Yeah, there's no fray, and it's literally completely flat when it's being threaded.
Okay, cool. Tell us about when you talk about like watching videos. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel and I started a playlist called Joyful Basics, which has beginner-friendly patterns.
Okay.
It's kind of my reference to if I'm going to do something and I don't want to go over the like the beginning stitch, I'll say, okay, watch that pattern and then join me here for this one.
Cool. So again, I want to invite anyone who wants to come on and share any project they are working on this week, what creative project, and come on and show us. So we'll put the link into our chat so that you can come into the green room. And it looks like we have about 10 more minutes to wrap up the show. Any other hints that you want to share tonight with anyone? That's like, you know, what are some more secrets that you have in becoming a successful beater?
Consistency and keep trying even if you fail. I tried seed beading originally and didn't succeed at learning it, and put it aside and came back, and the second time it took. Whereas the first time, not so much. I was really just mostly wire and mostly doing, I actually did some metalsmithing for a bit. I tried seed beading on a whim one day because I had seen a loomed bracelet and really wanted to try that, and ended up picking up one of the beadwork magazines and trying to follow a pattern. And I think the pattern was a herringbone. So it was a type of up and down stitch that I just love the look of because it looks like fabric. And I remember trying and failing and getting so frustrated and putting it aside, and then getting invited to a class with a friend to go try again. And I almost said no, but I'm so glad that I didn't, because that time it clicked. And then it was, from there, it was just on.
So that's a really good hint, because don't give up. And it's a lot of people will give up at that first step if they don't like have support, whether it's tutorials that you have, and it's like, get frustrated and then they won't come back. So like I was talking about earlier, it's like I have had so many design blocks lately, and you know, I'll walk away thinking I'm never going to do this again, and then I take a breather, come back the next day, find other inspiration, and come back. So it's really important to seek out your community where you have people who can give you suggestions and give you support and help your projects be successful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Community is everything.
Yeah. Very cool.
I grabbed your YouTube and put it in so people can just.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
And we did share the PDF. Can you hold up that PDF again? Because I wanted to point out what a beautiful layout and easy to follow, because how you have talked about your palettes, and then easy to follow. Look at that. I'm just seeing now that is it 3 pages? And so again, we talked about how can we help crafters and beaters be successful. It's with instructions like this. And you said you did hundreds for Michael's, so it really shows.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's something that I'm really glad I learned. That was another wish list skill acquisition. I did not know how to use Illustrator when I first started out with beading. I was taking photographs and making these monster PDFs with all these photos in them.
Uh-huh.
It couldn't be emailed because the files were too big. And
right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'm like, if I could just figure out how to do those cool diagrams like they do in the magazines. So I started asking, well, what are you guys using to do that? And there was actually a woman who taught a class through Beadwork magazine for how to do illustrating. Wow. And I remember purchasing a Zoom. It was a replay of her Zoom and watching that and thinking, oh, okay, that's cool. And it took some practice, but you know, it clicks. Everything clicks if you keep doing it.
Awesome. Awesome advice. I see Lenine is ready to come back in.
Yes.
Hey there. Dan.
Hey.
So, real quick, I'll share a card I did for Craft Roulette. This week we had to do a card that it was a square card. Maggie Smith was the inspiration. Colors were a party, and it had to have swirls. Well, you look real close, there's swirls in the pattern paper, but there's a story behind this. I knew I had some Downton Abbey paper. I bought it when I went to CHA back in 2017. So it was in the back of my closet someplace. And I found it. This is from the collection. It's I think it's Crafter's Companion. I don't know. But also in there, I had stashed calendars that I had from 2015, 16, and 17. And so I was able to even put Maggie Smith in my card. And that's my story about Downton Abbey.
That's great.
So you never know when your stash is going to come in handy.
Which is why we keep everything.
Yep.
Exactly. Thanks so much for sharing that, Lenine.
Thank you, Lenine.
You're welcome.
And Danielle, I see that Lost Art Studios has just joined the chat just a few minutes ago and wanted to know what we were talking about. So do you want to hold up the project that you demoed tonight and just let anyone know who's joining us late tonight that you can always watch our replay on YouTube. And then I will also pull out Danielle's demonstration from tonight's show, and you can find it at our Cool2Craft group. But go ahead and yeah, give a wrap up on what this is that we're seeing here.
So this is it's essentially a peyote stitch with a 2-hole lentil bead. And 2-hole lentils are a check glass bead that are shaped like a saucer, and you can run your thread through each side. And so I turned those into these cuffs by doing an even count peyote stitch with them, and then put on a little magnetic clasp that's designed for Super Duo, but I find it works really great for lentil as well. And that was what we did today. We just did a quick little stitch up with those.
Very cool.
Yeah, so the answer is yes, Lost Art Studios. This is the bracelet Danielle demonstrated tonight. She has us so inspired. It's so amazing. And we're going to put the link up again to the PDF. So, so I have a question for you, Lost Art Studios. Do you do beadwork? And are you familiar with Danielle's work? Well, we'll ask that and to see, but there's a great PDF that she shares. You can also buy a kit that for all those different colors. So thank you for asking that. Check it. There you go. Thank you.
And then here is the link for the guitar.
Oh, thanks for finding that. I got sidetracked when I got to Danielle's website.
Danielle put it in for me. So
Okay.
I just grabbed it.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's this one. And it's essentially almost the same thing, but I have a full-length video for this one as well. And it is the same technique we demoed tonight. It's just done with a different bead. And it has one little odd count turn on one side because this one had an odd number of beads per row, whereas this one tonight had an even count. So try this one first and then try that one. And it would work with Super Duo or lentil. You could use either.
And it's so cool how quickly you can make these, obviously to begin with, until you get into the flow of it. But you made it look so easy. The fact that you can whip together a bracelet in an hour, hour and a half is awesome to match with whatever your wardrobe colors are.
Yeah, exactly. And they make fast gifts. If you've got to get a birthday gift on that day, you can put it in a pretty box, put a bow on it, you got it done.
All done.
So I'm assuming that you could do the same thing because I'm admiring your earrings. You could make that same pattern for earrings. You're just going to use something different and not the magnetic clasp.
Yeah, exactly. And I have, I'm on an exploration of findings at the moment. And this is another finding made by the same company. It's from Beadsmith. It's called Symbol. In this case, it's an Alana 2. And that little finding you see at the top is made for an 8/0 seed bead, but I turned it into a wire guardian. And then this is just some 1.8 millimeter Miyuki cubes with some Miyuki berry beads. And it's peyote stitch done in a 2-drop configuration. So it's the same stitch we did together tonight, but just peyote in 2-drop. And you can do this so many ways. Like earlier I had on my blue ones, you can do the long version and just do a shorter fringe, which gives it kind of like a flapper style. Looks like a little flapper dress. Or you can go longer fringe, shorter peyote section. When you're controlling the stitch, you can do anything you want. You can make anything look any shape that you want. Wow.
Cool. Awesome. I think we've answered all the questions tonight, haven't we?
Lost Art Studios asked if you sell your bracelets online.
Finished, or I sell the kits at the moment.
I think she means finished because she doesn't
Finished.
do beadwork.
I can send a finished piece if you'd like one, but no one really ever asks for. Everyone always wants the kit. That's actually how I started doing kits. I used to sell my finished jewelry. That's what I did for years. But I would get asked, "What bead is that? Where did you get the bead?" So many times that it finally clicked for me that I need to be selling the beads. And so that's when that epiphany came for me.
That's perfect. You're following your audience. It's like pivot to what everybody's asking for. Perfect. Well, and I think then we're going to go ahead and wrap up tonight's show.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Danielle.
Thank you.
Was wonderful. We loved it. Got inspired and everything.
Oh, awesome. I'm so glad.
To invite everyone who's live with us tonight, if you missed any part of it, go to the Cool2Craft channel on YouTube and you can watch the replay. I'll also have a separate video on the channel of just Danielle's demo tonight. And this has been so inspiring, and I thank you so much. I told you when I started tonight's show, I was like, oh, I'm tired. It's midweek, and you've totally re-inspired me.
Oh, that's awesome. That makes me so happy.
Danielle, please come back anytime.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I would love to.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone who has joined us in the chat tonight and who's watching. And we're here every Wednesday night, and we love to share our creativity with you, and we invite you to share your creativity with us. So we will see you next Wednesday night on Cool2Craft.
Thanks, everyone.